So I'm going to be talking about why women fought for prohibition during the Progressive Era. Prohibition is the banning of alcohol, selling alcohol, distributing it, and basically just banned alcohol throughout the nation. Um, by 1830, the average American over 15 years old consumed nearly 7 gallons of pure alcohol in a year, which is three times what it is today. And it was primarily by men, and it was in a time when women had few legal rights and had to basically depend on their husbands for the support of their lives and for food and money and all that stuff. Um, the reason women needed to fight for this was because during this era, men would go out with their friends and drink and get really drunk. They'd come home and start beating their wives out of, pure drunkenness, and it's just what happened. And so they needed to, they felt like this needed to stop because, domestic violence is obviously not okay, and it was more accepted back then than obviously now it's taken very, very seriously. Um, Reformers believed that alcohol was the reason for a lot of crime, poverty, and violence, which is probably very, very true. Um, because, people make pretty stupid decisions when they drink sometimes. Well, not everybody, but there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to handle their liquor. There are a couple main groups. The Women's Christian Temperance Union. Temperance was terms that means, going against alcohol, and the some of the churches were very against alcohol and the abuse of it. And there's also the Anti-Saloon League, and that wasn't all women, but it was mainly women who led these reforms. Um, they went to churches and they spread anti-alcohol messages, and they had to fight for they fought for prohibition because they wanted to get rid of alcohol because they didn't really see the benefits, and they didn't think the benefits outweighed the cost of it. Well, it's basically costing them their health because they would get beat all the time, which I can understand why they wouldn't want alcohol in their lives. There was one woman, Carrie Nation. She was a very radical activist for prohibition. She would go to bars and saloons and basically just smash them up, destroy them, and destroy all the alcohol, and hopes that, this would, obviously they can't sell it if it's all destroyed. It's ironic because her husband actually said, he joked around saying that she should use a hatchet next time for maximum damage, and she said back to him, she's like, "That's the most sensible thing that you have ever said to me since I married you." And so she started using a hatchet after that, and she'd go into bars and smash bar fixtures and with the stock of a hat with her hatchet, and she'd break down or destroy everything in bars. There's actually a cop that said that he needed to arrest her for defacing property, and she replied, "I'm not defacing, I'm destroying." She would also be backed up by lots of people. Like, women would, she'd do it alone sometimes, or sometimes she'd be accompanied by hymn singing women that would march into bars with her and sing and pray while smashing the bar fixtures, because she felt like she was doing God's work. She carried a Bible and a hatchet with her when she went in there. She was arrested 32 times, and she paid for this by selling souvenir axes or souvenir hatchets that she sold to people as, like, I don't know, as souvenir supporting. Well, I guess it was more just, it wasn't about having the souvenir, it was probably more to support what she was doing, which I don't really know if you should support destroying things, but I guess they felt that strongly and they were being harmed from alcohol, so it makes sense, I guess. Um, I don't know. The Prohibition lasted or started in 1917, but didn't last very long. And I mean, I guess some people thought it was taking away our right to choose, but or our right to, consume alcohol was like almost, some people felt it was almost unconstitutional because they're deciding what we can and can't have. But today, obviously now, there's still groups out there that are opposed to for prohibition, and I don't know. I guess you don't really hear much about it anymore, but uh, prohibition actually, it's ironic because it was they want, one of the reasons they wanted was to stop crime and all that stuff, stop crime and violence and stuff, and with it came more crime, organized crime, such as gangsters and stuff, and bootleggers and people open speakeasies, and so it didn't really work out the way they had planned. And but I mean, after a while, women, like, domestic violence was obviously now known not to be any, like, accepted. It's not okay, and so that has gone down a lot. And yeah, basically, I don't know. It's a little ironic. You'd think that they'd want alcohol to have to, because they have to deal with us men, but oh well. And it's also a little ironic how in, like, Saudi Arabia they don't allow alcohol, and yet that's where women have barely any rights at all. So apparently it didn't work out as they had planned, but in the end, domestic violence doesn't happen as often as it used to. But and when it does, it's cracked down on a lot more. So yeah, that's about it.